Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here another Tuesday. And I hope you guys had a very good weekend, enjoyed it in a safe way. I hope that all of you are being very, very responsible, and because it's for the good of everyone. So what you don't do is going to be negative for me. So here we have our guest who is going to be now. Oh, hi, Nanu Films, and hello to my guest. And well, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How's everything?
Perfect. Do you see me well like that? It's the first
I
time
see you.
like
I
this.
see you perfect.
Okay.
I see you perfect. So, since we only have an hour, and the
Yes.
people are going to start connecting to watch our
Perfect.
interviews, such as Nanu Films. Um, uh, I shot a film with them in Barcelona a week ago, so it was great. I have to say they are very, very professionals, and
Mm-hmm.
you have Nanu Films there.
Hi.
So since we don't have a lot of time, we only have 1 hour, so I just like to say hello to everyone, and then another bye to everyone. So we're just going to try it in between to make it really, sharp and concise, the interview. So
Perfect.
if we do have time, we'll just ask people if they have any questions for you, or you can
Okay.
just chip in and say whatever you wish. Okay?
Perfect. Sounds great.
So let me start the
Mm-hmm.
interview by hello, Santi. Okay, no more hellos to anyone now. I'm going to be introducing you now. Okay, so good afternoon to all, and welcome again to Tell Me Over Coffee. Our guest of today was born, I hope I can say it well, Nuremberg, Germany. At the age of 5, her family moved to Lorac, not Iraq, Lorac, a small
Word.
town close to Basel, Switzerland. Her love for acting came to her at a really young age through a school play. That happened to me too, long, long time ago. Being a teenager, she clearly knew what she wanted to do: study arts, learn languages, and acting. So she started by spending 3 months in France, then moved to Salamanca, Spain, where she lived there for 7 months. After she graduated in International Cultural and Business Studies by the Passau University in Germany, she moves back to a small village in Mallorca, Spain, for 5 years, where she writes and acts in her first short film called La Niña de la Marioneta. Here she also encounters her most important theater project, in English, Hamlet, where she played Ophelia. Following her dreams of growing and learning as an actress, she also studied drama in Imperiencia Teatre Mallorca, as well as trained in Madrid with various acting teachers such as Fernando Piernas, Graham Dixon, Chekhov Method, Arantxa de Juan, Susan Baston Method, Juan Calvo, and voiceover at La Escuela de Actores UNIR in Madrid. She is a she is a multilingual film, television, and theater actress, native in German, Spanish, and English, and also fluent in French. In film, she is known for Los Europeos, The Marionette, in short films, Emotional Disease, Mabel, Art Odyssey, Das Mädchen der Marionette. I don't know if I said it right. In
Very good.
theater, she's known for Hamlet, Espejos Rotos, Macbeth. In TV, she's known for Otros Mundos, Roswell, a series for Movistar Plus, and in web series, Walk. I would like to welcome Corinna Seiter. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Very nice to be with you.
A pleasure. I've been looking very forward to interview you, because it's always nice to have other visions of other countries and other cultures, because it's a different way of seeing the industry that we all work in, which is the artistic industry, be it on film or on theater.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the questions. After being in a school play as a child, you already knew that acting was going to be your way of life. How did it all start? Anyone in your family in this industry?
Actually, no, like there's nobody in my family that I have a few people in my family from my dad's side that are
Mhm.
very creative. And also my dad has always been very creative. He's always he's written his own music. He's played various instruments, kind of everything self-taught in a way. He had a spirit that he was painting a lot. I have like a great grandfather who did many paintings. Another one is in pottery and does like different beautiful vases and stuff like that. My grandma actually writes poems, but nobody's really into acting that much. But there's a lot of creative energy, you could say. Although everybody kind of, I think it was also different times and in Germany. So in a way, kind of, people were seeing that more like a hobby, something to maybe put energy in, to put
Mhm.
love into it, but not really as a choice of like as a career choice, kind of.
Yeah, okay. Um, you left home quite young in various occasions to learn. Excuse me a second. I don't know what's going on with my. It's
Hey, don't
that
worry.
all of a sudden it goes black. No,
Oh,
it's. I think it's. I
I
think it's
saw
my.
you all the time. I saw
Oh,
you
you
all
see
the
me all the time. Okay, I don't
it,
know why, but
your image. I could see everything perfectly. It didn't go black or anything.
okay. For me, it
Am
did.
I
So I don't.
off it, or is it okay like that? Because I'm
No, no,
like,
it's okay. It's
okay.
okay. Okay, as I said, you left home quite young in various occasions to learn languages, study acting, and work in this industry. How
Mm-hmm.
did your parents take all this? Did they give you full support all the time?
Well, yeah, kind of. Like it's, I mean, the first time that I left home, I was about 14, 15, maybe when I moved to France for like 3 months. I mean, I see nowadays that a lot of people do that. Like young students go to maybe like Spanish students often go to Ireland or to
Mhm,
England to learn English and they stay with the guest family there for
mhm,
sometimes at the age of 11 even or 12 or something. So, but then it wasn't something that people did that much, so it was kind of new. And I had this really good language teacher. He was my French teacher, and
mhm.
he really said like it's really good. You should do that. And at that time I've had only French for 1 year at high school, so like I could say bonjour, and that's kind of it, you know. I still decided to do it because I thought it's a really interesting experience, and I'm gonna really learn the language. And in that case, my family supported me completely. They said, "Yeah, you should do that. Amazing. We should make it happen." And so I stayed with a guest family. Um, I stayed during the week. I stayed kind of like it was kind of like a boarding school somehow, like a little bit like with I don't know how many girls in one room. Like it was also very difficult because I had to learn how to resolve conflicts in a language I didn't really speak or understand, you know. And but for me, what was I think the most interesting experience in a way is like and you also speak like many languages, so I think it must also be a little bit similar for you maybe. That moment when you like at the beginning you don't understand anything, you can't really say what you want to say, it's a little bit frustrating, especially if you like to communicate.
Mhm.
But then there comes a moment that suddenly I woke up, like really from one day to another I woke up and I was like, wow, I understand everything. And that was
There's a
the moment.
film. There's a film
Yeah.
that relates to that moment, and
Hmm.
I invite everyone to watch this film. It's called the Warrior Number 13 with
Okay.
Antonio Banderas, and
Okay.
it's about Vikings and that they're supposed to be fighting against the evil, and
Yeah.
the Warrior 13 is a Muslim warrior, so he doesn't understand them. But as you say, little by little, every day, all of a sudden, he starts understanding everything they say
Yeah.
because he has already learned the language
Yeah.
by hearing and listening. And I always tend to suggest this film because it does in a way really simplifying explains how you learn a language by ear
Hmm.
faster than the traditional way that they teach in schools, because
Hmm.
we learn to speak by ear
Yeah.
when we are children, when we are
Yes.
babies. We don't
Yes.
go to a baby school to learn how to read, to talk. So
Exactly.
it's the same.
Exactly.
It's the same situation when you're
Mm.
learning languages. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, great. And but that was language, which is different. I
Yes,
mean, going to
of
learn
course.
a language, that's great. But now all of a
Exactly.
sudden you say, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to study filmmaking or
Exactly.
actress. I want to be an actress. Oh, what?
Exactly. No, no, that's the thing. Like, because it was kind of the same, like in one question. So with that part, my parents were super happy and they're like, oh, amazing. Yeah, you should go learn languages and everything. So when I decided after school, after high school, that I wanted to do the same thing, but with Spanish this time, because I thought like, yeah, okay, now I know French, I know English, I want to learn Spanish. So I decided to move to Spain and I thought like, okay, where can I best learn Spanish? And people told me Salamanca is really good because of the accent and it's also a student city and you can like have a nice time there. So I moved to Salamanca. It was like a year I kind of worked, moved there, like I always earned money on the side, worked as a waitress, etc. And in Salamanca, I did just a language school. And then later, I kind of did like an internship there, which was connected in a way. That's how I reconnected with the acting as well. Because in between, like I always loved it. I always did little things, but
Mm-hmm.
it never really occurred to me to do it as a like full-time career, you know? Like it was always this, can I really do that? Should I really do that? And so I kind of, I did an internship. I worked there. It was more like an assistant directing job or something. And there was this urge to really, to say like, yeah, this is all really interesting. This is amazing. But like, can I do this? Like, can I just like, could I show you like, could I do something? You know, it was this really big urge of like wanting to do this. And then is it
I don't know.
working?
I don't know. All of a sudden it just goes black and I don't know why.
Oh,
Sorry.
but I see you completely well. If
Okay.
any, you
It's
see
me.
me?
I see you now perfectly. I just have to touch it. I don't know why. It's just,
Oh,
whatever. Go on.
okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry to
No,
interrupt.
yeah, so it was kind of this really funny story because I met like these people I worked with, and then we went to Mallorca, which is like never a place that I thought of going there. Of like although I'm German, it's not like it was never a dream of mine to live in Mallorca or anything. But I went there to a premiere of a short film that a friend of mine had written. And there I met the director, Antoni Caimari. And it was kind of like a friendship at first sight. I don't know if like this kind of that you feel that you have the same energy in a way, that you see creativity in the same way, in a way. It was really beautiful. And so we decided to work together. And first, my family was kind of really cool with that because I said, yeah, I'm gonna like in my holidays, because I was studying still at university. So I said, like in my holidays, I'm gonna work on a project and da da da. And so I did that. And we started working together. And he's like, yeah, but I have this idea. We should maybe do a movie together. We should do a short film, da da da. And so we started working on that, which is the La Niña de la Marioneta. Um, and I told him like my vision. He said, yeah, I love this idea like this. Why don't you write the script? Which is then what I did. And that's kind of when I moved to Spain really to pursue this dream. And at the beginning, my parents were like, yeah, why not try it? You're young, da, 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 you can try this, you know? And I mean, I did finish university, which is like a degree in business, languages, etc. So it was kind of like I had this in case the other thing wouldn't work out.
Okay.
But like pretty soon I realized I wanted so badly to work out and I'm going to risk it. And I'm going to risk also, yeah, not always having maybe like not always knowing how the next month is going to be, but like really trying to pursue this dream. And that's where I still am. And it's beautiful in a way.
But it's quite curious that you start you start on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
What made you want to be in front of the camera and not continue on the other side?
I think in a way, I just felt this urge of like communicating in a way through art. And I think you can do that on both sides, obviously, on both sides of the camera.
Yeah.
And I also still find it very interesting to be on the other side of the camera, like to be thinking about maybe in the future, maybe one day directing something. I still want to write things and projects. It's just like when you act, the way you communicate is more direct in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. It's difficult to put that in words, but it's more like something happens through you and you just let it happen and give something, you know? And I think this connection, I felt that first time, really felt it in theater. When I did the first big theater play, I was so wowed by that, and not about like at all about like applause or whatever, or people telling me that was good or that was not good or whatever.
How
That
you were feeling.
it was more really that moment of something takes kind of hold of you and
Hmm.
you let it happen, and at the same time you're like looking at yourself and being like, okay, here's the stage, here is the light, you have to stand here, and at the same time something completely different is happening to you, which you let happen. That's like such a beautiful thing, really.
It is. It is. Um, you have worked in theater, TV, and film. All three are quite different,
Hmm.
although they are quite similar. Which one or ones do you like most and why?
That's a really difficult question. Um, I would later would like to know your opinion on it. What do you think as an actress? I think I love them all, and they're all very different. And I would say they all have their pros and cons in a way, like cons, if you could say that.
Hmm.
But in theater, I think I've had the most rewarding experiences as an actress in
Hmm.
a way that I could really connect to the role. I could really connect to the audience. You have this direct connection in a way that you see um, what is happening. You feel the energy in a way. In film, which is also very beautiful, but in film you do your job, and
Hmm.
then you do the scene. You may later do another scene. It's more like cut, which is also very interesting because you have to be in the moment, in that moment, what you're doing, and then you have to be able to quickly change, go into something else. But later, this is kind of like it goes through editing, it goes through the coloring, the sound, everything comes together,
Hmm.
which is not like no longer your control. So you don't really know the outcome, how it's going to be. It's a kind of like you're part of something different, although theater is kind of like direct, a little bit more pure, you could say. But
Would you say that theater, um, having more nearness, right,
mhm,
to the whole space,
mhm,
right? Space, not only your acting space, the space of your character, the
yeah,
space of the other characters and
yes,
other actors, the
mhm,
space between you and all the people in the theater.
mhm.
Don't you think it's much more of a personal experience than filming? It's really a cold experience because you know there's a whole bunch of people in the back, there's a camera here, you have your other persona in front of you,
Mm.
and yourself, right?
Yeah,
And although you try to make that small space intimate, it's
yeah,
not the same.
yeah, yeah. Like I completely see what you mean, and I would agree up to a point. At the same time, for me, I wouldn't put it in cold or warm, because I've been on movie or like the TV series I did, the set, I felt so comfortable, and it was such a beautiful experience, the last project I
Hmm.
shot, that of course you cannot compare that to doing a whole monologue in front of an audience on stage. It's a completely different feeling.
Hmm.
Um, but it's also very interesting. But it's true that yeah, you do it towards like the camera is kind of your audience, which is
Yeah.
like sitting there looking at you, and the camera doesn't respond, it doesn't react, it doesn't say anything, it doesn't do like or it doesn't cry, or it doesn't do anything. But this is I don't yeah, it's really difficult to say. I really like both because I think also I just love movies, I love series, I love watching later the outcome of it. So I
Yeah.
love to be part of that. But it's true that as an actor, when you're on stage and you're like doing that, like the last play we did, for example, Hamlet, we were doing like two plays in the morning and at night,
Hmm.
like twice a day, kind of for in the morning for kids, at night for adults. And of course, your whole body, the whole experience of it is very intense. It's much more intense. It's much more, yeah, it's very different. I love both. But I have to say though, I've never had a role like like playing Ophelia, for example. I've never had this kind of role in movie,
Mhm.
in film or series yet.
Yeah.
So until this doesn't come, I can't really say what I like better because, of course, I love playing, for example, Ophelia, and I have not yet played any character in movies or film or TV that are comparable to that. So I
Yeah.
can't say exactly.
Um, well, it would be definitely very, very different in film. I mean,
Yes, it
acting.
would,
You could do Ophelia. You could do Hamlet in film.
of
It would be
course.
completely different than from theater. It's just a different. How would I say? It's just I consider it. It's a different um, intensity when
Exactly.
you do theater or film.
Exactly.
You being native in German, English, and Spanish, and as I said, fluent in French, is there any of these languages that you are more comfortable when acting?
Um, it's funny because it really depends on like what language I'm set on at the moment.
Mhm.
I would say I'm comfortable in all those three languages the same amount, more or less. At the beginning, it's really funny because at the beginning, the language I was most uncomfortable in was German because it was
Mhm.
kind of like I started acting in Spanish and English. And
Yeah,
for me, then in German, it sounded like a little bit
weird.
different. Like the first years when I started, it sounded weird in German. I was like, what am I doing? What am I saying? You know? Because then suddenly you think about those things. I don't think about like my accent when I speak Spanish or English or, well, now with English I do because I mean, I did for the series, for example, speak with an American accent. Then
Mhm.
sometimes I do more the British accent. In Spanish, well, if they ask for a German accent, I can do that. So now it starts, but at the beginning, I was just happy to be able to improvise in Spanish. I didn't think of like, how is my accent? Am I
Yeah,
saying Madrid or am I saying Madrid or, you know, stuff like that. So in German, I did notice all those little things when you're like, am I now saying this? Like, does it sound like weird? Does it sound like I'm reading it? All this never happened to me in English or Spanish, but now I would say all those three languages I'm really comfortable in. And I've actually acted in Arabic once. Like I spoke,
okay.
yeah, I had to speak like Arabic for theater play. And that was also really, really cool experience. I had to learn like prayers. And I probably did it like, I don't know how it was, but like I was working with a coach and she told me how to pronounce it. And I found it really beautiful. And but yeah, so I would like also in Mallorquin, which I don't really speak. I've done castings in that language as well. I just think it's yeah, in the end it's not really that. Although what I do sometimes do, I don't know if that's if you do the same thing sometimes depending on which language you act in. When I have to do a scene that's challenging, like emotional wise, maybe, and
Yeah.
I want to connect something that has to do with maybe with my childhood in Germany or somebody I know from Germany, then I do like a little introduction for myself in German, just in my head, or I speak a few words in German. And then I say the text, like the lines in German, and then I say them in Spanish or English so that it's like really with that feeling, you know, that
Mhm.
because I connect it to like a German memory in a way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the same I would do in the other languages as well.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand you. Me, I think myself is a bit different because I'm a polyglot since I was very, very young, since I was a child. So it's just that I think in the language that I'm reading at that
Yeah,
moment. So
yeah,
it just
exactly.
comes natural. Um,
Yeah,
if I'm learning my lines in English, it's just going to be natural. If it's
exactly.
in Spanish and French or in Italian, well, Italian is the language I learned as an adult, but it's still
Mm,
going to come natural because I think in the language I'm speaking and I think in the language that I'm reading. So
yeah,
it's just that's one of the tips I always say.
yeah.
Although you might find it difficult at the
Mm,
beginning, it's not. You have to
yeah.
think in the language that you are reading or
Obviously,
speaking or
completely.
whatever because it's much easier. But
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
in which language do you consider you get more projects?
I would say right now, lately, it's been English. Lately,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also because maybe that's where the demand was. I don't know. Lately, I've done more projects in English. English, well, a little bit of German, Spanish as well. I do think that in Spanish, it depends because it is a very specific type they would want if they would want me to play a Spanish girl.
Hmm.
People have like a little bit of a problem with that because like physically I don't really look Spanish. So it's kind of like they would expect me to be a foreigner. I've never really played like a Spanish woman or girl in any project, but yeah, I've played French, German, also like yeah, American, different types. But right now, it's English is kind of big right now. I think
Hmm.
the projects
Well,
I've done
I
is
mean,
like
the physique of the actor nowadays, as I say, unless you're African or Afro-American or Asian or whatever, that's clearly in your face.
mhm.
Nowadays, there are so many interracial and intercultural unions and children born from these
That's
unions.
true.
It's quite difficult to say, you don't like Spanish. Okay, define
Yeah,
Spanish.
yeah, I know.
Or is when they say, you don't look Moroccan. I say, define Moroccan. I have
Yeah.
friends who are redheaded, they have blue eyes, and they are Moroccan 100%. They have,
Mhm.
I'm mixed. I'm
Mm.
multicultural, but they are not. And I have blonde friends in Morocco with green eyes, and
Mhm.
they are naturally blonde. So, I mean, nowadays, it's really, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
That's
sense.
how it should be, I
You don't
think.
look this or you don't look that.
That would
Whatever.
be beautiful. I think that's how it should be, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it should be. Okay. Do you find it easy? This is a question I usually ask.
Mhm.
When we learn acting, they
Mhm.
teach us how to get into a character,
Mhm.
but they do not teach us how to get out of it.
Mhm.
So do you find it easy to get in and get out? Have you got a method or a routine?
Yes and no. Like it's this is like kind of this is like the big question, I think. I think it's and I don't know if I can answer that with words. Like this is it's hard to answer that because I think I can say one thing. I've never had any problem like psychologically or that I felt bad after doing different projects or after, for example, playing Ophelia like night after night after night and crying and of course maybe I was a little bit lower on energy, but I didn't
Hmm.
feel any bit depressed or anything. Like I think I do this, I know it's not me, it is a part of me which I play, and then I think it helps to know who you are
Hmm.
and to be confident in who you are as a person and to know that you can. That's one reason why I became an actress, because I love living other lives and putting myself into shoes of other people and being very empathic and feeling something that somebody else is feeling. So in that kind of, I kind of empathize a lot with my characters, and that of course that moves me. And at the same time, I know that that's not me. I know I'm playing
Okay.
something. So I can
Hmm.
maybe, the only way or the only moments that I might feel a little bit like off afterwards is when I feel I didn't express it. Like when you do a scene and you feel like you kept it inside, you didn't let it out. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like when you kind of didn't get it all out there and you just kept a little bit. So then I would have to do like a little ritual for myself just to get that energy out, you know? Like
Hmm.
because you kind of create this energy that is good for that scene, for that moment, for that character.
Yeah.
And uh, I need to release it afterwards.
But do you think that this is due? I'm not talking about lack of experience. I mean,
Mhm.
it's because you're very young, and you have been dedicating yourself to this industry. How many years now?
It would be like 9 years, kind of 8, 9 years.
98. Now imagine someone who has been in this industry working. I'm not saying every day, but working very, very. How do you say it? Sometimes I forget my words. It's not a question of age. It's a question of languages.
Spanish, you
Um,
can speak in Spanish, French, whatever you want.
yeah.
If it comes to Spanish,
But that you work, almost daily in this.
yes.
But we're talking about an actor or an actress that has been on set or on stage for the
Mm,
past 20 years,
yeah.
30 years. Don't you think for them it comes to a point that it might be a little bit more difficult to how would I say it? Not face reality, but
Mm,
in so much, I give in so much of myself to this character
Yeah.
that before I leave stage, before
Yeah.
I leave set, I have to do a ritual. I have to do a little meditation,
Yeah.
or just, breathe and start thinking of, oh, well, okay, tomorrow I have to do this and I have to do
Yeah.
that, in a way to get out. And so when I leave set or when I
Mm-hmm.
leave stage, it's me. It's not my character who is
And
coming home with me.
yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, you should ask somebody that question and who does that for 20 years every day, because I've never like done a play for 20 years, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the most intense experience that I had, of course, a little part comes home with me, because also I constantly repeat the lines in my head so I don't forget anything, because it was like a lot of lines in like Shakespeare English, so it wasn't like nowadays, day-to-day English, you could say. So it was, of course, I had to be constantly repeating the lines, repeating everything, but I didn't feel it as a bad thing or a challenge. I think it's like, of course, if you have a really complex character, it happened to me a little bit like when you play somebody who's like maybe a bad person, like, or like
Yeah.
a psychopath maybe or something, then it's then afterwards. But that's what I said, kind of with the releasing it.
Yeah.
That might be the breathing, that might be, but then I can't really say I do this breathing exercise and then it's gone. No, no, I have to do what I feel in that moment is the right thing to do. So like my body will tell me in a very organic way, in a way, that right now I need to maybe slap into a pillow or into the air, or I might be like, maybe I'll just need to breathe really calmly, and then it will go and it will release, like I will release that energy, kind of. I don't know. It kind of depends on the situation, though.
But do you also think that that might also depend if you've studied a method?
Yeah, I think that's the thing with the methods, though. Like I studied like 4 or 5 like or different methods, you could say. And the
Mm-hmm.
method I most like is the acting training with Fernando Piernas,
Mm-hmm.
that I've been doing. I don't know if you've worked with him or if you know people
No.
that work with him. He's really, really good, and it's what you learn there is something that like a lot of people train with him who have done like all of the renowned acting schools in Spain. There is basically, and they train with him regularly, because he is the way he works is he
Mm-hmm.
works with everything, and it's a very personal work. So even though you're in a group of people, you will learn a lot from everyone, but you
Okay.
will learn with yourself, your own rhythm. And it's more about learning, yeah, kind of what you need, what your body tells you, what, if it feels organic, if the stage, if the scene, everything. And this is like, it's difficult to put that in words, kind of like, but it's an experience that once you have that, it gives you, there, I don't know the English word right now, templanza.
Okay.
Templanza. It's like this, yeah, temperance, can you say that? No, like calmness,
Yes.
tranquility in a way,
Mm-hmm.
balance. It's like
Balance.
that you are where you have to be, and you do what you have to do, and you don't get into other stuff that's not important right now. And I think if you do that, as soon as you leave that stage, it stays there, and you don't take the baggage home with you. I
Okay.
think it's a training as well. Like I don't know if there's a method, maybe like different like there's so many methods out there. I mean, you've probably worked with different methods, different trainers, teachers, different
Yeah.
schools. And I think
I've worked with my own method.
exactly. And that's what you do at the end. You create your own thing
You
of different things working
what
together.
works for you. Yeah, because what works for me at the end of the day, to me, is
Exactly.
going to work for you.
Exactly. That's the thing. Everybody has to find their own, like, and sometimes I say, oh, okay, I remember this exercise I did once in that school. And then I'm like, ah, this is very similar. And then I can use this for like getting somewhere, or maybe I use something else. Like that's how it works, kind of, yeah.
But I do know that there are actors that, for instance, in my case, I prefer to think and to be convinced that I am in control of of my character.
Of course,
But
completely.
there are actors that they think, okay, this is my job. here I am changing my character's here, and my character takes control of me, because this is the moment of my character. It's not my moment, it's my character's moment. I just
Yes.
find it difficult. I just find it not difficult. I find that a bit of being on the edge,
Yeah.
because you can lose reality.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So
That's really,
but obviously this is how I feel about when
yeah.
I'm acting. Okay,
Yeah.
in every moment, I am my actor. I am my actor. Excuse me. I am my character, and I
Hmm.
know who I am. But I
Exactly.
know it's me. It's
Yeah, of
me,
course.
Yassmine. I am acting this role. It's not
Of
the
course.
character who's in control of myself. But well,
No, no,
I
of
don't know.
course.
I think
Like, I
it's
don't know
so
if I expressed
difficult.
myself wrong. I
Yeah.
don't know if I
But
expressed myself wrong. That's exactly what I was saying. That's what
no.
I was saying before. Like, exactly that something works through you, happens through you, you let it happen,
Mm-hmm.
but you're all the time there holding kind of the horses, you know? You
Yeah.
let it happen, but anytime you can say stop. That's what I'm like, that's what I was kind of trying to explain. Maybe I explained it in a
Yeah,
bad way. I'm
I
always,
understand what you're saying. And then when you come
yeah,
to the end, you do need to sort of like empty all that, because you
of
are
course.
really, you're tense inside, but you as Corinna, you're tense until you finish. And then once you're finished, you need to just to let it go before you go home, because otherwise all this, you're taking it home with you. And I don't think it's
Yes,
good for anyone.
although the tenseness, that's the thing that I've learned, and I'm just learning it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just about to like sometimes learn it. So this is like a long process, and I'm like literally, I think in this job, in my opinion, you are learning until you stop doing. It's like a process of learning, of learning, of
Yeah.
learning,
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
I would never want to stop learning, working on myself. I think with every project, with every role you do that challenges you, work on yourself, and you get a little bit scared, and maybe you do like this, and then you just let go, and then you learn something else. But with the tension, I would say, and that's something very, it's very difficult to put that in words again, but I think I've just sometimes experienced, and that's with that trainer, you could say, oh, well, I don't like the word trainer, but with Fernando Piernas,
Mm-hmm.
that you can be playing a really, really challenging scene, a really challenging, complete, complex character,
Mm-hmm.
saying something really bad or doing something really challenging or falling on the floor crying, etc., like really, really challenging things,
Mm-hmm.
and still your body is like with the right amount of tension that it has to have in that moment,
Okay.
but it's not tensing, it's not, you're not tense, you're not doing the thing with the, you're not frowning, you're not it's kind of like a relaxing experience, although
Okay.
relaxing might not be the word, but like you see, for example, there's people that I saw that act in that way and really well, and it makes you connect with them in a really direct way as well,
Mhm.
because you feel that they're kind of at ease, they're not
Okay.
suffering, because I don't think we actors should suffer when we play somebody who's suffering. I think we should have fun playing somebody who's suffering in a way, because that's our job, you know, to
Yeah.
enjoy, to thrive in whatever acting experience we have. So I think the tension in a way is important, but it has to be the right amount. And if then you let go and you do the scene the way you want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
like controlling the horses, but letting go just enough so that they have their fun, but you kind of controlling it, then I think you go out there and you come back out of the stage and you're like, just like after a good workout, after a good, it feels good. Like you feel happy inside. You feel,
It doesn't feel good. It feels very, very good
yes,
when
exactly.
you have that feeling that you've done what you had to do, and it's just
Exactly.
so great. The feeling inside is just really, it's just I did it,
Yeah,
and it's cool.
exactly.
It's really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I miss that. I mean, with this pandemic, I'm just,
of
you know,
course.
everyone was so happy to be back on set, and everyone was tired, and I was there. What, you guys are tired, really? And I want to be there. I still want to be there. It's just whatever.
Of course.
Yeah. Now let's change a bit. What are your favorite genres as an actor and as a spectator? And what type of film, well, not film, but story or genre you would never do?
I'd never do. Okay, wow. Okay, first of all, my favorite genres as an actress, I think I would say drama. I do really enjoy drama, and I think that's kind of what I am maybe most comfortable at. But then recently I've also done comedy, which is like the one of the latest projects that's gonna come out now. It's more comedy, and I also had like lots of fun of like doing that. So I think yeah, what I would love to do, which is also kind of what I did lately, but I would love to do a little bit more like the period pieces, like other times, just like all those roles that you get to see a little bit or live in another world a little bit, see different moments of time, different, and also characters like to play, for example, I love characters that have a big change. I mean, every actor I think does because it's more challenging, but also more interesting, kind of to have somebody who might be a little bit naive and nice and cute, and then suddenly something happens and they just snap or just get like mean or just get really different, or the other way around, somebody you think is like not a good person and then you kind of find out why, and you find out that something happened to them and suddenly they seem weak, but in that weakness is like a lot of more strength than before when they were like playing a tough act, kind of, you know. So I love those kind of complex characters.
Mm-hmm.
um, and I love these kind of stories as well, that tell stories like that with characters, with human characters, ups and downs, and
Uh-huh.
are interestingly written. And yeah, like independent movies, there's a lot of things going on. Also series, I mean, lately there's a lot, I think with series, what you can do nowadays, which before wasn't that well seen because there weren't so many series like there is now. You can really live the character through like a long period of time, which is
Uh-huh.
much different now than in movies, for example, because you have just 1.5 hours to tell a story. And in a
Yeah.
series, you have not infinite, but like a long time to really. So yeah, I think that's something interesting. And what I would never do, gosh, that's difficult. I don't think, well, I mean, I think the whole sexual scenes thing is a thing that I think nowadays it's changing a lot in the industry, and I think it's amazing that there's now intimacy coaches, coordinators on set sometimes for difficult scenes, that you have somebody there taking care of that so that actors feel comfortable, and all this is really good, I think. Yeah, so I think that's something that has to be, it makes sense not to show something just for the sake of showing it, you know, so that it's like the really important for the plot. That's one thing I'm kind of careful with normally. And then another thing, I would love to do it, but I'm not sure if I could. Like, I would love to do a horror movie one time, but the thing is, I can't watch horror movies. I can't. Like, I can't see them. Like, I get really scared. Not while I'm watching them, but more like kind of maybe a month later, I see something in my flat that reminds me of the movie, and I just can't sleep. So I think that's something I would love to be in a horror movie maybe one day, just so that I can see how it's done, so that maybe it won't scare me when I watch it. But and that's the thing, like I mean, I see how it's done. Like I know the things, I know the tricks, I know the actors, and I know like, he played the monster and stuff like that. But it still scares me. I don't know.
You know how to scream, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
So yeah. But it's like
I
I think it's
I
something, it's cool, yeah. But I don't think I would be able to watch my movie. Like if I was in one, I don't know if I could watch it afterwards. But yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, because I think the trick is that once you do it, you already really know. Because one thing is you know how it's done, and another
Hmm.
thing is acting in one. And
Yeah.
once you've acted, I mean, I love horror movies. I just love.
Yeah.
I can't stand zombie movies, but I love horror movies. I
Yeah.
can't stand horror movies because there's a lot of
Yeah.
blood and having blood just for blood. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But when I watch films that are, you know, terror or horror, and you see kids, especially
Hmm.
kids, and you're there thinking, how on earth do they do this? How on
Yeah.
earth are they not, you know, traumatized after they've done this
Yeah.
film? Because, you
And
know,
can
all
they?
this screaming and all this stuff. But see, they can do it. So if they can do it, why
Mm,
can't we?
exactly. But like,
You
are
should
they?
try
That's
it.
That's sometimes something I ask myself, like, are they allowed to watch the movie afterwards? Like the kids, you know? Do they
I don't
see?
know. I don't know, but I mean, just
I think they
imagine
should.
sometimes it's not done digitally afterwards, but you
Mm.
do see the proper monster in front of you. So just
Yeah.
imagine the child. He's seeing there's this guy who is covered in
Yeah, with
blood
that
and
thing.
scars who's coming to pick him up. But he knows it's just a film, and there's a guy in disguise there. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just like I guess that for them, especially if they're very small, for them um it's just like doing a movie in Halloween and everyone's disguised.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like
They
I
just
think
take it on that
it's
side because
yeah.
obviously they do have. I mean, I assume they do have their coaches there that take
Yeah,
care of the children.
I
But
hope
it's
so. I think
quite cool to see these kids just screaming their heads off, and you're there. Oh my God, I would just die. I just drop dead if that happened
so,
to me.
yeah. And
Yeah.
especially like I can like I like watching thrillers and I always that's also something I would love to do, like play like a spy or something with the languages, you know, and then I can do like a little bit of karate and kickboxing and stuff, and then just train more, get a little bit more sporty and do like play a spy or something in a spy movie. I would love to do that. Or like a thriller, something like that, police officer. All those roles, I think it's really interesting. But as soon as it's something um, like not from this world, like I don't know, ghosts or moving dolls or something like that, it just gets me. I just get really scared. I don't know. It's always been like that. I think it's just my imagination playing tricks on, and it's like, yeah, but it's really interesting. But that's a genre, for example, I don't watch. Like I can't even see the trailers of the movies. I really can't.
What do you do when you're not acting or screenwriting?
Well, many things. Like this is also one thing that I had this phase, like maybe at the beginning, after 3, 4 years of acting into acting, when I was like, yeah, but now I've given it a try. I moved to Spain. I could be working like in an office, doing whatever and earning a lot of money in Germany. I don't know, but I thought I could have, you know. And then I thought, yeah, but why is it not working? Why am I not like in a movie or in a series or whatever? And then I kind of had this aha moment, like this click, and I said, wait, the fact that I'm not every month earning my money with this doesn't mean I'm not a good actress. It doesn't mean that's not what I should be doing. It just means that maybe I need to find something else as well to give me some financial tranquility, you could call it. And so I did, and I always had other jobs. I've always had in Mallorca, I worked at this like shop where they did natural soaps, projects, everything handmade. And now in Madrid, I'm teaching English, I'm teaching German, and now recently I started working as like a travel, could say travel agent, well, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
tour guide on cruise ships, and that was really fun, really cool. So it's always I always try to find jobs that are possible to match with my career as an actress. So that means I can have a job, I can earn money, have stability, but also be flexible with the time, be flexible with my working hours, and be able
Mm-hmm.
to do both. And that kind of made me, as a person, much more calm. And I think that also kind of came into making me feel much more calm as an actress, so that I can do casting, I can go to an audition, and I know that I want this job, I really want this job, but if I don't get it, I can still pay my rent at the end of the month. And that's really, I think for me, that's really important. I know there's people that don't agree with that, and they say, like, if you don't have this urgency of you have to get it, you don't get it. But for me, that's more, I don't know, I need to be happy, I need to be enjoying this, and I will, and I am. But yeah, I think there's months I live of only acting, and that's amazing, and I would love to do that in the future. But until that happens, I think even if I have now a big project or movie or series, and you know, okay, with this money I could live for a time, I think it's still good to do other things, also to like be active. And also that's where you get like input experiences, and then later you can play maybe somebody with the all the stories you learned or every like all these other experiences you had.
I mean, I usually say maybe I would say that many will not agree with what I usually say, but I usually say keep your expectations low and your
Yeah,
goals high
that's a
because
very good.
because you suffer a lot if you
Yeah,
are expecting that the phone, when it rings, it's a
of
job,
course.
that
Yeah,
an email that comes in is a job, a message, a WhatsApp, whatever, it's a job.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why you're not supposed to be having your expectations too high.
Yeah,
So I always say, and I always say to myself this, keep your expectations low, but your goals high,
yeah,
because you have to, at the end of the day, you have to eat and you have to pay your rent. And
yeah.
we are many, many, many actors,
Mm,
as many filmmakers, many screenwriters, many of everything. And
mm,
obviously there is a job for everyone,
mm.
and there's a time for everyone. But until that
Yeah,
day comes, you have to pay your bills.
exactly. I think it's perfect what you just,
Obviously, if you can do things that do
yeah,
have to do with the industry, it's great
yeah,
because you're not out of it completely.
yeah.
But
Mm,
if that's not possible, I always say it, especially to the young people, such as yourself,
mm.
or other young actors, don't be ashamed to work as a waiter on weekends. They pay quite well, and you can live off
Exactly.
that on weekends.
Yeah,
And it allows you from Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday to do auditions. So,
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, or teach a language if you
Yeah.
master in a language, or teach an ability. I don't know if you know how to fight, or
Mm,
how, I mean, sword fighting or archery, or how
exactly.
to horseback or whatever, or a
Hmm.
motorcycle. I can teach you how to ride a motorcycle. Many things. There are so many things that you can work as a coach for other
Yeah.
actors.
That's what I've
So
also, I really enjoyed that, working like as a language coach with German and things like that. That's also something I really like doing. Because then you can, because I love working with people and I love like helping as well. And I think that's really beautiful as well. But yeah, what you just said, I completely agree. Like, keep your, how was the sentence exactly? Because I really like it. I'm gonna
it's
remember it.
keep your expectations low, but your goals high.
I love that. It's exactly that. I think that's really, really good and important. I think if I had known that from the beginning, it would have saved me some although maybe that's also important to have that little feeling of, oh, maybe I'm a failure, because then you grow from that and it kind of
Yeah.
makes you feel stronger
Yeah,
as
but you
well. I
you
think
don't
that's
need to.
important.
Yeah, but Corinna, you don't need to feel
No, of
uh,
course.
as a failure to grow.
No, like that
It's
was
just like,
exaggerating.
yeah, I know. We all lived that moment. We have
Yeah,
all lived it. I mean, my expectations low and goals high come from living that moment in the film.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
had that moment, and I
Mm,
was told from a very, very smart person
mm,
of the industry, and she told me about the expectations, and
mm,
I chipped in the high goals, and
yeah.
ever since, my life really has changed. I don't
Yeah.
take it so personal anymore. I go, I
Exactly.
do my audition, I go and I forget. I go, I
Exactly.
film, I shoot, I go and I forget, and that's it. Because otherwise, you can't live with so much pressure on yourself.
Exactly. And
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
it's exactly that. And I think what the beautiful experiences that we have, I think when it's something really beautiful and something that you really connected with, for example, like the last project I did, I felt so well taken care of. I felt so beautifully, um, like I don't know how to describe that, but like I think it was. I have to plug it in now
No.
because it's telling me the battery's catching up. Now it's still working. Can you
Okay.
see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I think
Yes.
the experiences, the good ones, are really important to keep with us, to a little bit thrive on
Mm-hmm.
them, and to say like, this is really amazing. I love this experience, and it might happen again, or the next one might be a difficult one again, but I will
Yeah.
still do my best, get out there, and not be attached to what's like the outcome of it, kind of. Yeah.
Mm.
It's beautiful like that. And like this, it really is
It
fun
is.
most of the times.
Oh yeah. Have you got any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
Well, the thing is, I can't really talk much about them. I guess just say like the project I was talking about a little bit now, where I felt really comfortable and it was really fun shooting it and it was really beautiful. Although, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe acting wise, it wasn't maybe like Ophelia or something, but it was really really fun shooting it. Is the
Mm-hmm.
series Otros Mundos, which
Mm-hmm.
you can still see on Movistar Plus. that was produced by La Caña Brothers. It was really beautiful working environment. I really loved working with everybody. And there I play the wife of Walter Holt, which is I don't know if you know the series. It's kind of like it's Javier Sierra who writes a book about phenomenon, like a lot of times with maybe aliens, UFO sightings, etc. So this episode is about the UFO sighting in the United States. It's for 56, I think, or 40. Now I'm like with the time, but that was kind of like one of the biggest ones. So it's about like all this cover up they kind of start doing afterwards. And so they kind of, it's like a documentary, but then you see what actually, like you see what like what happened then, and you see with actors that time. So that was really beautiful experience. That's something you could watch on Movistar. And then the movie that's coming out on the Festival de Málaga, which is Los Héroes, directed by Víctor García León. That was really, really amazing. The experience was beautiful. Also working with like great people in front and behind the cameras was really, really good. Like there I learned a lot. And yeah, I would like, of course, obviously.
These are past, but these, excuse me if I interrupt you, these are past projects. I'm talking about projects.
I thought you said like
projects.
because they're not, yes, I thought like to go and see them, watch them.
Yeah, no,
yeah, no, I had
future projects.
No, right now I don't have any, like I'm kind of in between projects, you could say. I had one which didn't happen because of Corona, so like as everybody, I got like a little bit affected by that, which is a little bit sad. But yeah, that's like how life is right now. I mean, we make plans, we have things coming up, then something changes, and so right now I had a movie planned to shoot now in July, August, but yeah, because of Corona, I couldn't do it, which is like a little bit sad. But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something else coming in September or October.
Okay, really quickly, this is going to be the last questions because we're in the verge of the end. Which film director would you like to work with and why? We're talking about generally speaking. You could talk about Spanish and international, or just Spanish, or just international.
Okay. There's so many, gosh, I don't know. There's a lot of them. Yeah, I would love to, like Spanish. I don't know why it's into my head, and I don't really know why, but it's more like a thing from here because I've seen a mediometraje, like a medium long film of him that really, really touched me, really got to me. Esteban Crespo. I don't know if you know him. I would love to work with him because he made this movie that really touched me, and it's called Aquel no era yo. Like this wasn't me, or something, I think it would be in English. It really touched me, and I think I love what he does and the kind of movies he does. So that would be something that would make me happy to work with him in the future. And yeah, I think also internationally, depending, like if I could go back in time, then I would say Woody Allen. Right now, I'm not that sure, but like the older movies, I would love to have been part of that. And yeah, I think there's a lot of directors I would love to work with, really, internationally, nationally. I mean, Julio Medem, also Spanish directors. I know it's a little bit sometimes depends on if you like the movies, if you don't like the movies. I would love to work with him in like a project.
Okay, well, that's going to be it because we're running short. I just want to thank you so much for sharing your afternoon and experiences with us. And I would like to thank everyone for being here and always being with us. You will be able to follow Corinna's career because I'll be putting her all her social media on the IGTV. And tomorrow we have a special guest because it's a special day, and we will be interviewing Hollywood's pro networker, Armand Baradi. And next Tuesday, we have the international Danish filmmaker, Louise Brix Anderson. So everyone, stay safe and be very responsible. And just thank you all. Thank you, Corinna, for being there. And I just hope to have you again with us some other time
Thank you
where
so much.
everyone can ask questions. Okay? Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.